Games. I love them. Board games, card games, games of skill. I love games. I also love art. Okay, yes, I'm stating the obvious here. After all, you are sitting here watching an artist on an art-centric YouTube channel. But you know, I love art. So since I love games and I love art, when I get a chance to bring those two worlds together, it certainly piques my interest. Which leads me to this email from a friendly Canadian game enthusiast named Luke. Subject line, 1000 trading card game. I read that subject and in my mind I rewound back 3.5 years ago to the first day I started working on my custom playing cards. Back then I made a deck of cards which to my artist eyes was 54 individual canvases to share my artwork. A collection of art that can bring people together in the real world as they sit around a table and play games, compete, laugh, and create memories together. And now here I am reading the words trading card game and thinking to myself, this is a chance to take that concept to the next level. Creating my own characters, unique abilities, environments, effects, strategy, gameplay mechanics. It's a chance to build my own little world. That sounds incredible. And it sounds monumental and overwhelming and a bit crazy. But if you were to ask me why I want to do what will amount to be an insane amount of work, the answer could be boiled down to two simple words. For fun. So I replied to Luke's email. Sounds fun, I'm in. And with that, the journey had begun. So I'm making a game.
Another big project, I see.
Yeah. So yeah, there's this company called Creo, and they hit me up and they want to make a trading card game with me. We've had a couple of calls, like brainstorm sessions, and basically the goal of the game is to get 10 points. And you've got these denizen cards, which are kind of like your little people.
Yeah.
And then you've got these guardians, which are like, right now I'm thinking like big, powerful animals.
Yeah.
And you have to have these like guardians protecting your people.
Okay.
So the points that the guardians are is how many points of denizens you can play.
So you score with the denizens?
Yes. Like if you have 7 points worth of guardians, that means you can play 7 points worth of denizens. Your goal is to get to 10. And then each of these guardians are going to be like really cool and they have their own special abilities and they're gonna like change the way you play the game.
Okay.
And then I'm also thinking to kind of divide them into like biomes. So you could have like a swamp biome, or you could have a jungle biome, or you could have a desert biome.
Yeah.
The biomes are almost gonna kind of dictate like your play style. So like maybe the desert biome is the most aggressive and maybe the jungle biome is the most mysterious and magical. Or you could have a mixed deck of like, I really like the sky biome, but I need some power from the desert and kind of deck build and do some mixing and matching.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
What's the game going to be called?
No idea. Maybe the viewers will throw some good suggestions out there. We got time to come up with it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's time to get started on some artwork on this thing. We have been doing some play testing on version 0.0001, the earliest build possible of this game, and it's already fun. It's already interesting. There's already some strategy in there. I've narrowed the biomes that I want to do down to desert, jungle, sky, and ocean. And maybe down the road we can do expansion packs with like forest or swamp or grasslands, I don't know. But since we have some core gameplay going on, we have these guardians, we have our biomes figured out, I can actually get started sketching. I'm just gonna arbitrarily start with the desert biome. And what I've done is I've made just a super long list here of all kinds of desert animals that I can use as inspiration for these desert guardians. So it's time for me to start looking at this list and get sketching. I think the hardest part is probably just like narrowing down what animal I actually want to use as inspiration for my guardian. The desert has like so many awesome and incredible creatures, and I have a list of like 35 desert animals, and I can't make 35 cards in just this biome. So narrowing it down is super tricky, but it's fun, like researching each animal and what makes them unique, and maybe that can play into their special attributes that each guardian has and some of the powers that they have. So it's just decisions right now. I was just asking some of my patrons over on the Discord server for some suggestions on desert animals, and Weiss here said, what about the desert rain frog? Look at this guy. I think I need to do just something with this guy. He's just so round, so cute. The characteristics of the desert biome is, you know, they're aggressive, they live in this like brutal environment, they're kind of like the harsh biome. Maybe they would be like the warrior class of this card game. They build their cities into like caves and cliffs, or they live underground. Kind of an earthy biome. And right now I'm working on the guardians. The guardians are like, I think they were in this land first. They're these animals, but they're very anthropomorphized. They wear clothes and armor and use weapons, and I envision them being able to talk. And then the denizens are the humans basically, and maybe they came into this world somehow later, and they're strangers in a strange land, and they like look up to these guardians for protection and to help them be able to survive in these harsh environments. So yeah, the guardians are these super powerful animals, and the denizens are the people that have stumbled into this world. Okay, so over the past 5 or 6 days, I have just been drawing, and I came up with 8 guardians. All of these are in the desert biome. So we have Arid Jack here. He's like based on an antelope jackrabbit. This guy's flying through the air. He's got kind of like this bone slingshot, which I think is really cool. This guy should maybe be like, maybe a level 2 guardian. We've got the Caracal, which is kind of like a desert lynx. I gave him these like sunglasses, but I don't want anything to look too like new or modern, really. So I looked up what's the oldest pair of sunglasses in existence, and I kind of based these glasses off of that. Maybe this guy will be like a level 2 or 3 guardian. I don't know. We got to come up with like special moves for all these guys too, like unique abilities that'll change the game in a certain way. That'll be really exciting to try and come up with all that stuff for each individual character. Dry Agassiz. Agassiz is like the Latin name for a desert tortoise, or part of it. So this is a desert tortoise. I think this guy should be like a level 4. He looks just beefy and strong. This one is just hilarious. They're basically a frog that is like a little ball. They always have like a frowny face. They have like human-esque butt cheeks, which is like too cute. And they make this little scream that literally sounds like a squeaky toy. This is a bit of a meme card, but what if there's just like a swarm of desert rain frogs, and whatever their unique ability ends up being, I want it to just be kind of a funny nuisance to your opponent. I don't know how we're gonna work that out, but we'll start brainstorming that. I think these guys should maybe be like a level 1, because I don't know how much like guarding they're doing. And then the Gila monster. I think Gila monsters are poisonous too, so we could do some kind of poison attribute. I think this guy should be like a level 4 as well. He looks big and strong. The desert fox kind of looks like a silent assassin. He's got this like little piece of desert glass over his eye. Maybe that helps him see certain kinds of prey, because maybe it's like colored glass or something that amplifies anything that's not just sand colored. Trying to come up with a little bit of lore in my head as I draw these. This guy's probably gonna be like a level 3 wise mirror. The meerkat. This guy seems like he's like a watchful lone warrior. Maybe he's got some desert magic going on. I think this guy will probably be like a level 2. His weapons, I think, are made out of like sticks and bones and stuff. Very earthy. And then we have this little Jerboa, which is kind of like, I can't really tell the difference between a jerboa and a kangaroo rat. I think they're similar. I don't know. It's like a little rodent with a long tail and big bouncy legs. And he's riding on top of a desert scorpion with like battle armor. Both of these creatures are like super tiny though, so maybe this will be a level 1 guardian too. But those are my 8 sketches. I think it'll be cool to have like 2 level 1 guardians, 2 level 2 guardians, 2 level 3 guardians, and 2 level 4 guardians in each biome to kind of start out with. But I think what's next is I kind of got to like take one of these illustrations and play around with coloring. I think there's going to be some experimentation, because whatever I do now is really going to set the precedent for the entire rest of like all these cards I'm gonna design. So I'm kind of committing to something now and letting that kind of be the benchmark going forward. This is a prime time right now for experimentation. Let's go make some art. I brought my sketch into Fresco and grabbed the vector brushes. And while I start inking this first Guardian sketch, I'm gonna let you know this video is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is a website where you can build a website. And Squarespace makes it super easy with their amazing templates. You just gotta drop your awesome content into their beautiful templates and you have an amazing website just like that. If you need an online shop, their e-commerce options are amazing and offer easy to use tools to get your creations into the hands of your supporters. Plus with Squarespace payments, of course you have PayPal, credit, debit, but they can also take new payment options like Afterpay, Apple Pay, Klarna, and a whole bunch more. Building a website to share your vision with the world does not have to be an overwhelming and daunting process anymore. Squarespace makes it super easy. So what are you waiting for? Go to squarespace.com to start your free trial, and then when you're ready to launch your site, go to squarespace.com/1000 for 10% off the first purchase of a website or domain. It seems like so much of my art has been based around limited color palettes lately, whether that be my single color series or, I'm always designing t-shirts and those are silk screen printed, so my colors have been limited. But with these trading cards, they can be full color. I really just feel like I've been set free with my colors. Okay, so I have created the colored version of my Gila monster, and I think this guy is looking righteous. He's black and orange, he's got this like badass armor, but I also made some alternate versions, because there's gonna be common cards, and then there's gonna be uncommon cards, rare cards, ultra rare cards, and there'll be foil editions and stuff like that. So this is the regular one, and then I made a night version. Everything gets all dark in the background. We've got this like trippy psychedelic nighttime coloring as if there's some kind of like magical fire burning just out of frame lighting this character. The night one will be probably the uncommon version, and then there is a monochromatic version. This is a red card, and there's 8 guardians in the desert. So this one will be red, there'll be an orange, a yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, and then a gray one. So that's 8 colors for 8 guardians. Each one will have its own little monochromatic version. That will probably be the rare one. And then I also made a sketch version, which would potentially be the ultra rare. And this is just the OG pencil sketch. What do you guys think of this? This is episode 1 in a long journey, and I definitely need as much of your input as possible. Are you into trading card games? Do you have good ideas with the art? Do you have good ideas with the gameplay? Because every time I start a new project, one of the most valuable resources is the insight and input from this audience. For now, this character is called Gila Gila. I'm also gonna need help with names if anybody has interesting names. None of these names are set in stone. The name of the whole freaking game is up for grabs. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what to call anything. It's an evolving, amorphous globule of idea and inspiration right now, and we're gonna keep refining it and refining it. But I feel like I have a solid direction here, and I'm gonna move on to coloring the rest of these guardians. As I'm creating these illustrations, I'm working inside of Adobe Fresco so that I can utilize their vector brushes. For my inks, my fill colors, and some of my rendering, I'm working all in vector. And then I will add some raster graphics for the background and some other effects. But since the majority of the inks and colors are done in vector, it's really easy for me to tweak things later inside of Illustrator. As I illustrate, I'm trying to keep in mind I still have 3 other biomes, and I want the desert biome to have its own little color family. I'm leaning heavily into tans and yellows and reds, and when I do dip into cooler colors like blues and greens, I try to keep them a bit warmer so the desert biome will have its own unique color palette compared to ocean, jungle, and sky. This is like 2 weeks straight of just sketching desert guardians and inking desert guardians and coloring desert guardians and shading desert guardians and doing the background on desert guardians. During this whole time period, my iPad and my camera were going with me everywhere I went, and I was pretty much just on my iPad working on these desert guardians around the clock. It's a lot of work, but this is really the kind of project you just wait for as an artist. It's something big and juicy to sink your teeth into. And I know it's early days, but I hope I can maintain this level of fun. Because right now, I'm having fun. Okay, progress. We have made progress. All right, so you've seen Gila Gila, our big beefy boy. Let's move on to the next desert guardian. We got Dry Agassiz, the epic desert tortoise. This guy's looking super rad. So textury, so scaly, so spiky. And then the desert fox, I have changed the name to Vulpes Raider. You guys can let me know what you think of that name, but this guy's looking cool. He's got that green glass over his eye. And then we have the caracal. I don't know what to call this guy. I mean, the animal's called the caracal, but I think we gotta get a little more unique than that. But I like his colorful clothing. He's kicking up some dust. And then onto our level 2 guardians, we have Arid Jack flying through the air with his bone slingshot, kicking up dust and rocks and stones with his little golden eye patch. And our other level 2 is Wise Mir. This guy's looking super cool. I love all of his cloaks, and yeah, he just looks like he's gonna be off in the distance. I mean, meerkats always stand up and like watch and look around, so he's just out there watching, keeping an eye on things. And on to our level 1 guardians, we have the mounted jerboa. In an earlier clip in this video, I was saying jaboa, but it's jerboa. Nick pointed that out to me, and I'm like, oh, I'm just an idiot. Okay, riding his scorpion. They may be small, but they'll pack a punch. And then, of course, my rain frog swarm. Just piled up on top of each other. Oh, they are so grumpy. Yes, but they are so cute. Okay, yeah, feeling accomplished. Feeling like progress has been made, an entire biome of guardians. But wait, there's more. Here we have the night versions of each card, that trippy coloration. Oh, these are just so psychedelic and sweet. They almost look like they're that foil polychrome texture already. So I feel like if you get a foil version of one of these night cards, it's just gonna be like extra trippy. Those ones are super cool. I tried out like 3 different versions of the night coloration. I did one where I kind of just did like a hue shift, and then I did one where I went into Illustrator and like recolored everything, and then I did these versions with this like trippy psychedelic coloring. I think I'm leaning towards this, but you guys can let me know what you think about the different night version options. I think this just really makes them a very unique coloring style compared to everything else. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put a poll out on my post tab right now. When it comes to the night version, do you like the hue shift one? Do you like the recolor? Or do you like the trippy psychedelic colors? If you go to my YouTube channel and click the post tab, you can scroll down here and you'll see a poll right there. This is probably the first poll of many to vote on decisions going into this trading card game. And then we're gonna keep this crazy train rolling with the monochromatic versions. Gila Gila's red, Dry Agassiz orange, the Vulpes Raiders yellow, Caracal's green, Air Jack's blue, Wise Mir's purple, the Mounted Jerboa is pink, and the Rain Frog Swarm is grayscale. This is what I was talking about when I said there's 8 guardians and 8 colors, and we can just do this kind of like monochromatic rainbow for these special monochromatic cards. Those are looking super cool, which brings us to the sketch versions. The ultra rare, just utilizing my original pencil concept sketches, stage 1, before I ink, before I color, before I render. This is kind of my starting point, and it's cool to release sketch versions of the cards. It's like boiling it down to its raw essentials. So those are the sketch versions. Man, I'm super pumped on how this thing is coming together. I mean, I still gotta do the denizens for this biome. I still gotta do the special watcher cards, which we haven't even talked about. I gotta do all the other stuff for all the other biomes, but this feels like the first step in what will hopefully be an epic journey. And now that I have my Desert Guardians done, I think that's it for episode 1. Like I said, if you guys have any suggestions about any part of this, lay it on me, bro. I am a sponge to this community when it comes to these big crazy projects, and I want you guys to be a part of this journey too. Woo! Excitement, feel it in my bones. Huge shout out to Luke and the whole team over at Creo. They have been making iterative changes, and the game is getting more and more fun as the weeks go by. We're continuing to play test. I want it to be cool art. I want it to be fun to collect. And most importantly, I want the game to be fun as well. So that's all heading in the right direction. So excited. All right, I'm 1000. This is stage 1 in designing my own trading card game. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll catch you guys on the next one. What biome should I do next? Peace out.